Yeah, I want to go ahead and jump into this Apple AI dark horse story, if you don't mind. Let me go ahead and pull up this article. We don't normally hear of these behind closed doors meetings with Tim Cook, but he held a closed doors meeting on Apple's campus in Cupertino, California, telling them that the AI revolution is as big or bigger as the internet, smartphones, cloud computing, and apps. Quote, Apple must do this. Apple will do this. This is sort of ours to grab, Cook told employees, according to people aware of the meeting. We will make the investment to do it. Okay, interesting. I want to read one part that I thought that was super, super interesting. He said, we've rarely been first, the executive told staffers. There was a PC before there was Mac. There was a smartphone before the iPhone. There were many tablets before the iPad. There was an MP3 player before the iPod. But Apple invented the modern versions of those product categories. He said, "This is how I feel about AI." All right, Starter Pack. As an AI guru, as a tech mogul, what is your take? Why is Apple one so far behind AI, and two, where is Apple in this AI race? It seems like their Apple Intelligence has just been a massive flop. What do you think?
So they launched Apple Intelligence. They really were trying to gear towards what I've actually been a fan of doing small AI or these small LLMs on the device. And they were trying to do this, but it was early. And we saw a huge flop in this. I think they did this a lot for privacy reasons. There's a tons of privacy concerns, which pretty much every other company right now has thumbed their nose to. But Apple's always been really big on their privacy, right? This has been something that they've kicked off in a lot of different ways over the years. And I think they've really done this. Now, there's a lot of talk out there, and actually, I have like 3 different sources that are reporting that they're looking to acquire Mistral. So Mistral is a French AI company that's run from the background and has open source AI, their LLMs. They've been growing very slowly for years, and they're one of the largest open source AI companies out there. And there's a lot of chatter out there that Apple's looking to acquire Mistral. So I'm kind of wondering if Tim Cook did this because they haven't done one of these closed door meetings for a long time. And so he definitely is recognizing that they're behind here. And I'm wondering if they're about to make a big purchase there to be able to in-house them, or something similar like Google did where they're just going to poach a bunch of their top talent.
So what's Apple's play here? Is it something on the phone? Is it a chatbot? Is it making Siri better? If you're Tim Cook, where do you focus on the best user experience? I mean, it's not the biggest market share, but they definitely have this market share within the US that's pretty substantial. Tim Cook says this is ours to win. What does he mean by win? Is he going to beat Elon at buying H100s? What is he going to do?
I'm not sure. And it's curious to see what they mean by this. And Apple can't do anything in secret. They're so big at this point. There's no way they could do anything in secret, right? Their secret card, division that was around for, almost a decade before they scrapped it. There was never really a whole lot that Apple can do in secret because they're just so large. It's theirs to win because they have their hands into every single corner of the tech market, and they have enough money to do whatever they want. Even, there's a lot of other companies that have huge valuations, but very few people have the cash reserve that Apple sits on. And so with that kind of a cash reserve, they can make a purchase overnight.
Totally. Two questions for you. Is this going to be, well, a question with two different angles? Could this be something that moves Apple up $1 trillion in market cap, or do you think Apple's too big to move quickly enough where we can start to see the decline of Apple in innovation?
It's a good question. There's a lot of people predicting the latter, saying that Apple is starting to see the decline in innovation. I think Tim Cook's really smart. I actually think he's where Steve Jobs was very brash, Tim Cook is very reserved, right? And so they're very different personalities, but it's not Steve Jobs wasn't an idiot, and he picked Tim Cook very specifically. And Tim's done a great job steering the company, since Steve left. And I don't think he's misstepping here. I think they're trying to play this smart because it is one of the biggest opportunities. But Apple's big enough that it doesn't matter if they're first to market on this. They could crush OpenAI if they decided to, mostly because at the end of the day, they have the most of these in people's pockets in the US, right? So if Apple wants to and they make the right play on it. Now, that being said, devil's advocate here is they totally flopped on Apple Intelligence, but to the point, it didn't kill them.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they haven't done anything with these wearables. They have so much health data, and maybe that's why. You and I actually had a conversation a few weeks ago that the reason that they are so slow is because they actually are one of the few companies that is paranoid about customer data. What's your take on that?
So I'm not a big Apple fanboy, but one of the things I do respect Apple for is their stance on privacy. They're one of the ones who I think respect customers' privacies the most. I don't think they take that lightly. I think they're very careful about what data is getting fed into the cloud. And so because of that, I think they're very slow to move on this. Whereas I think we're going to see piling lawsuits for a long time. OpenAI has been able to dodge it so far. I don't know how much longer they'll be able to dodge it. We'll see. There are a lot of mounting class action lawsuits against OpenAI particularly, but OpenAI is marching towards a $1 trillion valuation. So we're going to see.
Yeah. And to your point about data privacy, I mean, if you connect Siri to XAI, right? Whatever, if they have a partnership or whatever, now you have to hit the allow button that says allow my calendar, allow my contacts, allow my
Yep.
email. And so you and I always talk about, we even watched a clip last week from Sam Altman, how he said, like, hey, if we get subpoenaed by the government, we have to turn everything over, all of your chat history. Like there's no therapist client privilege or GPT client privilege. And so to your point, Apple hasn't done this. And so they don't have the issue yet of saying, oh yeah, we gave XAI or OpenAI your entire Apple calendar for the last 2 decades.
Yep.
So I thought that was a really interesting point that I hadn't thought about. Do you have anything else on this?
No, I mean, there's a whole lot of chatter. There's not a whole lot of movement. It is interesting to see Tim Cook circle the wagons like this a little bit, but they recognize they're behind, but they also recognize that they have the strength to overpower anybody when they're ready.